Hi, this is Dugi, and I made this video to show you how I would use our own guide for leveling. And I thought this would be a fun way for you to see over my shoulder just how I would play as well. If you're a beginner and you're quite new to the concept of doing dungeons, you're going to find this video pretty cool to watch, and I have some good tips for you as well. And this is my Worgen Hunter. He's level 18 and also a DPS class, which is typically what most people play the first time. He's currently doing the Dark Shore guide, which is a level 10 to 20 zone. He's only done about 50% of the guide and he's already level 18, so he's quite close to skipping ahead to the next zone. When you have our Lore Master guide, you will have extra choices of where you want to level. So this guy can either go to the Ashenvale 20 to 25, which is in the Kalimdor section, or Duskwood, which is in Eastern Kingdom. When you queue for dungeon, you will get the choice of choosing a specific dungeon or a random dungeon. The best benefit of a random dungeon is probably the random blue reward, which is pretty cool. You can do random dungeons for the very first time because you haven't done any dungeons before, and any dungeon that you enter will likely have quests for you. But if you have done dungeon quests already, you should really try to avoid doing the same dungeon more than once. This is because you will gain double experience points if you're doing dungeon with a quest than without. Even though you will get a random blue item reward, you're still better off doing the next dungeon or the next questing zone that will reward you with more experience point that will level your character quicker. I mean, the experience point is more valuable than the items itself because your character gets stronger as you get higher level with more stats and talent point, and also be able to complete higher level quests. You will find that the level 1 to 60 dungeon for Cataclysm doesn't require any prerequisite quests, with the exception of Shadowfang Keep, which you should save until you're level 20. That way you can complete your class quest at the same time. Make sure you have your class quest before you enter the dungeon. And also at level 50 there is a class quest for your class helmet that can be completed at Blackrock Death. The Outland and Northern Guide, however, is more complicated because a lot of it will require you to complete a series of prerequisite quests before you can accept the dungeon quest. During level 1 to 60, you can pick any dungeon you want, but you should follow the dungeon level range specified in our guide. For example, you don't want to be doing the Dead Mines at level 18 because it is only good for level 15 to 17. And at level 18, you will likely get paired up with lower level players, and you will have to carry them throughout the entire dungeon, and that's not what you want to do. You want other higher level players to carry you in the higher level dungeons, and that way you will get tons more experience points and better reward that will last longer. I'm still waiting for my dungeon queue to pop up, and when I enter the dungeon, I can switch the guide and carry on. Just remember that in Outland and Northern, or level 60 to 80, you will need to complete the prerequisite quest first to get to dungeon quest, so check the guide first before you queue. While I wait, I can continue solo questing with the standard leveling guide until the queue pops. The queue time for DPS classes are typically much longer than tanking or healing. If you're a tank class, the queue time is usually instant or less than 1 minute, and if you're a healer, it will be around 5 to 10 minutes. And as a DPS class, expect around 20 to 30 minutes. As you already know, Dugi Guides will always tell you the fastest questing route, and once this character hit level 20, I can skip ahead to the next guide and continue questing. And if you're a novice, you don't actually have to skip ahead of the guide. As long as the quests have green colored text, you still get a decent amount of experience points, and it also means that the quest is generally easier to complete. But if the quests have grey text, it is definitely time for you to move on to the next zone. I've just leveled up to level 19 and I've got a talent point to spend. I might as well tell you how to use our talent guide while you're here. When you have a talent point to spend, simply open your talent frame and you will notice the talented tab. Click on that and then you can click on a template for your character. I recommend you choose the template closest and above your character level. And once you've done that, you click on the action button and click set as target. And now you can go back to the default talent frame. And notice that when you go back to your talent frame, you will have some extra numbers displayed above your talent skill. Those numbers represent the number of points you should spend per talent. And you can add your talent point and click learn to confirm, and that's it. These templates have been carefully researched and tuned for leveling. There are also different templates available for different spec of each class to suit any playstyle. Alright, the dungeon queue is finally available for this character. Let's zone in and see what we have. We are now in Shadowfang Keep, so I will select my Shadowfang Keep guide under the Dungeon tab. Now I'm not level 20 yet, so I am missing one quest, which is my class quest. So I will skip this step and now I'm in sync with the guide. Whenever you skip a quest, you should skip it by crossing it with a red cross, so that it will tick all the steps associated with it. Now you can see our dungeon guide in action, showing you the correct path to complete the quest. A 5-man dungeon run will always consist of 3 DPS, 1 tank and 1 healer. As a DPS class, you should be focused on dealing as much damage as you can without pulling aggro. Aggro is the percentage that you will see above the target portrait, and if it's close to 100%, you should either stop attacking so that the tank can catch up or pick a different target. In this example, I put too much damage on a target that the tank is not focused on. The threat level went all the way up to 100%, and this is not what you want. But luckily the tank is pretty onto it and he quickly taunted back towards him and managed to keep the target under control. As a tank, your job is to absorb all the damage, and you need to use your high threat ability to keep all the NPC aggro on yourself. If an NPC is attacking other members of your party, it is your job to pull the NPC away from them and build enough threat so that the NPC will stick to you and attack you instead. I would also recommend you switch on the enemy's health bar display. The default button for that is V on your keyboard, and that way you will know which target is likely to die first and select the right target to focus first. A healer's job is pretty simple, which is to keep everyone alive. The key here is to conserve your mana and heal as efficient as possible, so you should save your best ability or your cooldowns for bosses or for emergency use only. You should also keep an eye on the enemy so you can anticipate the amount of damage coming and pre-cast some healing over time spell, or begin casting a large shield just before the damage land and never allow the tank to die. Melee DPS should pay attention to position themselves behind the target, because NPC will be able to parry some of their attack if you are attacking from the front of the NPC, and every attack that gets parried will reduce your overall damage. It is important that you experiment with your DPS rotation to be able to deal the highest possible damage with your character, and that would really help out the group. There are a lot of extra ways to maximize your performance in dungeons, such as using focus targeting, but I think that is something that should be covered on an advanced video. And this part here is a little embarrassing. The tank knew a shortcut that I didn't know about, and our guide direction actually goes around the long way. But nevertheless, our waypoint arrow detected that we are now on the new floor and updated our waypoint arrow, and we're still on the right track. And I have made the adjustment to correct the guide. Alright, so I'm going to leave it fast forward ahead, otherwise this video will be far too long. The main point of this video is to show you how our waypoint arrow system will continuously tell you where to go and update automatically. The entire run only lasted about 30 minutes, and I gained a ton of experience, and I gained some awesome upgrade from the bosses and also from the quest reward. After finishing the dungeon, I gained an entire level, and now my character is level 20, so I'm pretty much out of sync with the guide, because the current guide that I'm at the moment is only 60% complete, and I still got plenty of quests to do. But since I'm level 20, I can now skip ahead to the Ashenvale 20 to 25 guide, and that's it. I just have to follow the direction. Now I'm back in sync with the guide. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and see how easy it is to combine our standard leveling guide with the dungeon guide, and you can still be in sync with the guide when you come out of the dungeon. This is Dugi, and thank you for watching.